almost everybody takes generic approaches, and so that might be the line, and the place you're going to hit it the hardest is cross court. If you come straight down the line and approach on the sideline, you're going to open up, you can hit it a line shot. If you want to hit sharp, then if you're going to do it in the most powerful way, you're going to have to approach from out here and approach like this to set it up. And if you were watching them when they were approaching to hit, they were all starting about here, and they were all approaching and planting their feet about the same way, and they were all set up to hit middle back. Well, to me, that's where the generic part of the sport really bothers me. It's because the game, especially for passers, makes us do things that we don't want to do. My least favorite place for my outside hitters to hit balls is to middle back, because the ball is just going to be dug over and over and over again. And so, but if I have them stand here and set it normally, then they approach, and that's where it's going to go. And all of their approaches, that's all they're doing over and over again. When they were doing the approach without a ball, there wasn't one player that set their approach up so that they could hit cross court, because no one asked them to, right? And what they should do is ask themselves to do that if they want to really be good. We do a lot of hitting where I ask the hitters to work their plant. That's what we call it. And that means that if I'm approaching at this angle and I just generically put my feet down, then I'm set up to rotate and hit line. Okay? Well, fine. Let them hit line every time you play and see if they're going to be as successful. But if I'm at that place and I want to hit more over there, then I have to take this part of it and work it. Either that, or I have to set up this way and cut it. Okay, well, I want them to hit it as hard as they can, as often as they can. And so they're going to have to work their plant to set up with their plant so that they can hit it cross court better by rotating. So in volleyball, there's some things that bother us all. Kids that hit like this with no shoulder rotation, it just bothers me. That's how they get hurt. It's the easiest way to have it happen, but the game sets it up that way. We don't set ourselves up very well to open our shoulders up and rotate and hit. And a lot of it's because we're not telling them that we're putting them in situations over and over again that are making them do that. Right? And we don't want them to do that. So they have to think about some things. I'm approaching here and I want to hit sharp cross court. How do I do it? Right? Ask them that. If you want to hit it as hard as you can cross court and you're approaching this way, do you plant your feet like this and do it like that? I say you're going to hurt yourself if you try it 100 times, and you're not going to do it very well. It is tricky. That should be a shot you have, that's for sure. But learning how, and so we put tape on the floor in the hitting area here as an example to show them where they're going to hit a ball depending on how they plant their feet. Because if I want to hit it sharp, I got to plant my feet across this line that goes sharp. That makes sense. Is there anybody that didn't click with? I think it's a really, really big thing if you're into detailed things. That I think that hitters just hit generically. They just approach generically. And I think right side hitters have it better than left side hitters. I think lefties on the right have this same issue. I think when you're offhand, you hit differently. Right? But when you're this person over here and you wonder why you can only hit to part of the court and you're not paying attention to where your approach is coming from, what happens after you pass, if your defense says you're way inside playing defense on front sets and you have to get out here, then you're taking out that part of the court. There's almost no one in the college game that we play against that hits the ball over there. And in your game, it's probably fewer than that. There's this little V that happens right there. That's where balls go, because that's where the game makes us hit it, because we're just generic about what we do. Anybody have a question about any of that? Yeah. Yes. So the question is that I'm talking about them knowing that they're in a situation and that where they're coming from isn't going to allow that to happen, right? All right, so if I get way over here and I want to hit line, then I'm going to have to learn how to change my plant or hit cross body, which that's one of our favorite shots that we teach. Russ was talking about teaching a freshman that shot. That's great, but if it's the idea of the game gets us to places And then what do we do from there to make it so that we can do things that don't just generically happen? That's why the ball goes there. That's why those two diggers dig all the balls, because the hitters have no clue that they're not doing anything to set themselves up to hit any place else. Okay, I think, yes? Yeah, when we're working on this, we have them start out here. Right? It's not game-like, I get that, but I want them to have a feeling of what their body feels like when they generically run in and plant and hit that direction. Okay, so then we say, okay, got it? Then we move them over to here and say, you got to hit the same ball. And so when you come in to plant and you just generically do it, you're not set up to hit there, you're set up to hit over there. Right? And so you have to work your plant. You have to say, okay, I'm here. I want to hit there. I'm going to have to work my way around this ball more so that my body rotates so I can hit it over there. Now, then we work all the way over to here. They're coming off passing. They only get out to here. The whole defense knows. Blockers, diggers, their mother knows that they're going to hit it there. Right? Only if they learn how to say, that's not where I want to hit it right now. I'm going to work at this and set up so that that can happen. And for some reason, there are some people whose coaches taught them, or that it's just natural for them to do that, and they're the cross-court hitters, and they can't hit line most of the time, okay? So we do it in sequences. We don't do it every day, but we have this out on one of our practice courts, so when our outside hitters are practicing, they can see this and use it, and they understand what we're trying to get them to do. Jordan Burgess, you either bounce at seam or you hit it over the top to middle back over and over again. And now she's saying, I don't want to be that person, and this is what she's working on to do it. Players have feelings, right? The game feels a way to them, and so he's asking me what approach we take to get this. And basically what I'm saying is by having this little sequence is, okay, let's do this. This is how it feels when I can hit it there and just really let it go, right? That's a feeling. I understand that. Now, when I move over here and I approach, and I'm approaching from a different angle, and I hit it this way all of a sudden, they get an idea that they're not the same. And so just trying to approach it from, they know what they're doing, they don't know that they're generic, and I want them to feel it and then learn how to make that feeling happen by doing something different. Okay? Okay. Later on, if we have a chance, one of the things I was going to talk about was slide hitting. It's different, it's fun, it's a great part of the game. We're going to try to get to it, and we'll try to fit in transition hitting too. One thought on hitting is that I think all of us should use, transition certainly works, is the 10-foot line here, or 3-meter line. That pretty much most of the attackers we have, if they're hitting off 2 feet, a good place for this step is right around this line. All right, so if you're timing sets on the outside, use this as the place where your locator step happens and your plan happens in front of this. This is a good place to get kids to, because you're trying to eliminate variables for them to be good. And if one of the variables is, if my left foot goes here and then I plant after that, I'm in a good place. All right, or if I'm a middle and I'm transitioning to hit and I get to here and I turn around and just plant, it's just a 2-step approach, it's a pretty good place for me to hit from. All right, so this is a tool that we really try to use, is our 2 middles that we have that aren't primary slide hitters right now. We do lots of transition stuff where they land, they know exactly what it feels like to do that, and they turn around and they drive off of that step, and that takes variables out of it for them too. So 10-foot line, something you might use in terms of how you set your offense up.